Good evening, and thank you for staying tuned. You're watching In the Upper Room. And again, we wanted to share with you that was a message from our sponsor, P. Wilson Pest Control Company, right here in Wilmington, Delaware.
So good.
Yes, and so with that said, we're going to go into our first segment, which is going to be with our great friend, the incomparable maestro, master angler, and best friend you could ever hope to have, Mr. Harry Spencer. Welcome to In the Upper Room.
It's good to be here.
Nice to have you
It's been a
back.
while.
Thanks for
It's
coming,
been a little
Stan.
bit
You
of
guys
time.
in a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, man. So catch us up a little bit. What's been up?
I'm on the board with the Rick Van Story Resource Center.
Okay.
We had a big recovery day last Friday.
Wow.
I had some bands there and some people speaking and some officials came over and we had a really good time. Whole day and food and everything.
Wow.
And Mr. Lonnie Edwards, he works with me, and hopefully we'll get you on the board.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
okay.
and so
Be
we'll
happy
doing
to
some other
serve.
Things, yeah,
Lonnie T.
that's who it is.
Can you tell us more about the project, the board that you're on?
The Rick Van Story.
Yeah.
Well, it's a resource center that covers for people that have mental illness and substance abuse problems, and they have beds there. We have beds over there for about, I think it's 30-something beds for men.
Okay.
And he just added some women, built some beds for women, because
Wow.
it was a hard time finding places for women that were out on the street.
Okay.
You could find places for men.
Yeah.
It was hard finding places for women.
Right.
And for me, that would seem like it was pretty rough, man. Find a hard place for women.
Right.
It
Right.
seemed like they would find a place for women sooner than they would men.
Oh, okay.
Well, that wasn't the case. So now they have a place for women. They had beds for the women, And seen a lady last year. Her name was Linda. And I had the hardest time getting this lady to go in. Come on, it was like cold.
Right.
And she would sit out there in the bus stop with a blanket over her.
Right.
And she would not go into a recovery house or a shelter or
yeah.
anything. We finally got her to go in, and now she's doing good. But I thought she was going to die out there.
I know.
Yeah, but she probably had some other things going on.
Yeah.
Up here.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
Which made her not want to go into a facility.
Yes. Yes.
So I really like doing this kind of work.
Right.
Because me coming from New York, I can remember when I was doing my thing.
Yeah.
I was out there in the cold, man. And
Right.
It was like really very unpleasant. I found that to
Absolutely.
be extremely unpleasant.
Yeah.
And now I'm on the other side of the fence where I can be a help to
Yeah.
someone else,
Right.
which is really, I have a good feeling about that.
So go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say something and piggyback on what Harry was saying because it's so important to have compassion for people because for several reasons. One is, but for the grace of God go I.
Right.
Right.
And many of us who have been in those situations, out in the cold, as you say, literally and figuratively, because sometimes if you're not connected, you may not get the care that you need if no one knows
Right.
that you're there,
That's
or,
right.
or ignores that you're there, and we don't want one person to go unserved.
That's right.
So
That's right.
organizations like that, they're so important to support them and become a part of them. I'd be honored to serve, as I said before, because number one, I mean, there's definitely a need. We all know that. There's a need, and if people don't know, they won't go. And
right.
and so having ambassadors and outreach people like yourself who are not afraid to come on here and carry that message, you know how important it is. So
very, very important.
I just want to just really take my hat off to you and thank you, Spence, and thank the organization.
So Harry, where is the facility located?
It's on 2nd and Jefferson Street in the old Channel 6 station.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, and as you were mentioning before, sometimes people are so independent. They want to do well for themselves, but they may be compromised in some sort of mental capacity way or whatever the case may be, and so they may need encouraging.
Yeah, that's right.
To coming out the cold in many different ways, coming out the cold. And I think that sometimes the best people to help someone in that situation is someone who's been there.
I've been there.
Yeah, you don't need the initials after your name at home. You don't need the initials after your name to be helpful or to be on assignment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And I had that conversation, Shauna, last week with Kira. She and I were talking about how you don't have to be perfect to be used by God.
Right.
Right.
And that is the God of your understanding, you know. He knows how to use each one of us and reach each one of us and make us a representative.
Now on the flip side,
Talk to me.
this spring,
Yes.
I'm working on a project,
All right.
and it's a project to give people a different view in the way they view, the way they've been seeing things.
Okay.
In other words, you know, man sees things in a certain way,
Yeah.
and of course I don't see things in a certain way. And people talk about being in touch with you said higher power.
Right, right.
To me, I'm in touch with a higher power, but I'm in touch with a higher power through the wind,
Yes.
through the sky,
Yes.
through the water,
Yes.
through the earth, through the trees,
Yes.
and through all that. To me is the spiritual, the essence that I think God has put here
Yeah.
for me to be in touch with,
Right.
as opposed to being in touch with drinking and drugging and all that other stuff.
Right,
you know?
right.
So, I mean, so there was stuff that distracts you, you know.
Yeah.
So the thing I'm writing, I've already written it, the man thing.
Yes.
Because you've already done a picture. For
Yes.
that.
Yes.
But I've added some stuff to it. It's going to be.
That's
it's,
awesome.
It's going to bring the consciousness of the universe down.
Right.
And man's always looks at space creatures that look like him.
Yeah.
Like you see a monster movie.
Right.
It always has 4 arms and legs and
Right.
upright like a man.
Right. Humanoid feature.
Yeah, humanoid
Right.
features. So now, but this being, it's not made of the same things we're made up of. It's made up of helium, methane, and nitrate, and that's the exact opposite of what we're made of.
So this is a book you wrote?
It's a play. It's going to be a
Okay.
play. It's going to be with music.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when the guy's talking to this forum, he's describing his view of man, which would be, of course, my view.
Right.
Which I'm really on man's case,
Right,
you know, because
right.
I really, you know, some people seem to be really, lately, people seem to be really agitated.
Yeah.
I mean, you go into stores and stuff, man, people like just seem to be angry.
Yeah.
They want to kill each other. They want to do this.
Yes.
And the thing is, they don't take for granted the beauty of the things that are natural to them.
Right.
You know, like, matter of fact, God is natural to them.
Yeah.
But then they put a lot of things in front of them,
Yeah.
and they can't even get to God
Yeah.
because they had to go through so many channels to get to God.
That's right.
To me, it's
Yeah.
instant.
Yeah.
So is this what inspired you to write this play?
Well, it's always been on my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can vouch for
always
that.
it's always been like I've always had like little sketches of it. Matter of fact, I did a couple of plays at
Yes.
musical a few years back called Man. Yeah, it was called Man. You know.
Right.
And so now this thing is going to be, I've upgraded it. We've added the universal thing. We're in, the thing is that God is the creator of everything. I mean,
Yeah.
not just earth stuff.
Absolutely.
I mean, of everything. But any other kind of being that exists, or any other thing that exists, God created all of that. You know?
Right.
So I mean, when I look at that, and I have a God like that,
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel I'm up for one.
Yeah.
Because if you just got a little basic God, I got this great God, man, that created all this great stuff. You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when I'm out, say this in closing, when I'm out when I'm out in nature, and I'm doing my thing in nature, and I carry my symbol,
Yeah.
I'm out in nature, all of a sudden I just need to be quiet for a minute.
Yeah.
And that's my throne of grace, is
Absolutely.
to have that quiet and just let it hear the sound of the water and the forest. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then when I get back to the city, it's another thing. You know, I'm
Yeah.
back in up on the bandstand playing my horn.
Right. You know, Shauna and Harry, thank you for sharing, man. Harry and I, Shauna, we go back a long way. We go back over 25 years now. And when I met Harry, I was at a turning point in my life. You know, I was just coming out of hell, basically. You know, with my own addiction problems and things of that nature, and didn't know what I was going to do next, but I knew what I used to do, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So I heard this guy speak. I hope you don't mind me sharing this.
No, no, no.
Yeah? It's okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
I heard this guy speak. Now, I knew the Lord before those days. Knew him well, you know, since I was a very small kid. And certain things came into my life despite that
Right.
that
Relationship,
situation,
right.
that relationship. And I had people that were helping me through those times. And they were able to do certain things that were helpful to me. But when it came time to transition into the healing phase of my life in that regard, I needed something different. So I met this guy, and he was totally different from everything I had heard before. Harry lived this thing truly, one day at a time. And I had heard that saying, but he was my first example of how that actually what that looks like. So I started following him. I followed him. I followed Harry everywhere he went. If he was playing a gig, I was there. If Harry was going grocery shopping, I was there. If Harry, when I learned he liked to go fishing,
I know you guys drove around a lot to go fishing, right?
man, listen. I spent more time fishing than I spent working back then. We must have went fishing every day. And it was so funny, but it was so necessary because that gave me an opportunity to reconnect with my natural self. You know, my natural self, the one that had become distorted during those days of living life to devastation. So I thank God for that. That took place over 25 years ago, and Harry has been my friend and confidant for those 25 years. And I'm so proud of Harry because we used to sit there on that creek bank and we would talk about things that we were going to do.
Right.
And we're doing those things
That's
that
right.
we said we were going to do. Praise God.
Fruition, they call that.
Yeah. So there.
So when can we look forward to seeing the play? You said the spring.
Yeah, probably around May. I'm going to have Vernon James.
All right.
He's going to he's going to kind of orchestrate the music for me.
Okay.
With band members and things, you know. And I'm going to have everything like you're going to really like this because it's going to be nothing like you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's going to be my crazy mind.
A lot of people don't realize how talented and skilled Harry is in terms of putting things together, especially productions, musical productions. This guy, you know, he does a lot of bookings and arranging. Club at the Nomad in places.
Yeah.
I know. Well, absolutely. You'll have to come back and around that time and share that with our audience so we can point everyone in that direction.
I'll do that.
Okay. Go
Okay.
ahead. No, did you have something else?
No, that was about it.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to presenting this thing to you guys.
Awesome.
We can't wait, Harry.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much
All
for
right,
coming on. It
all
was
right,
wonderful
sure.
seeing you
That's
again.
good.
Oh, man.
At home, we're going to ask you to stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of In the Upper Room.